Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Friday Fix. And our other shows, Plays and Parlays, Civil Discourse, and UFC with LT. Man, I saw y'all do that 4-hour watching the UFC, man.
Oh, that was dope. It was crazy. It was fun to do, though. I mean, I'm not really a huge UFC fan, but it was definitely fun to do. I mean, I think it's starting to make me into more of a fan, understanding the fight game a little bit more. But LT, that's his thing. It's definitely a very fun live broadcast, man. Y'all got to check us out on our Plays and Parlays, and also UFC with LT, man. It's huge new shows.
Yeah, the main matchup was what, 30 seconds?
Oh, man, all of them are screaming. These dudes was ready to tap out half the time. There was a few good ones. They went a little distance, but they was ready to go. A few cats was like, man,
UFC ain't like boxing, bro. Like the fights can end quick.
I mean, another thing, something else is ending pretty quick is this whole MAGA movement. Trump faces a revolt from his MAGA base over the Epstein files. On the weekend, President Trump decided to pick his biggest political fight to date with the MAGA base he created in his own image. Thousands of his adherents who gathered together. And all they wanted to talk about here at the Student Action Summit hosted by the conservative activist group Turning Point USA was the Epstein files. I think that these people, and I don't know, for whatever reason, there could be reasons, but I don't think they're telling us the truth about Epstein. Podcaster Brandon Tatum told the assembled crowd at the Tampa Convention Center. I think that the guy was involved in something nefarious that implicates a whole lot of people. And my guess is that a whole lot of people may happen to be some of our allies and some people that we don't want to have bad relationships with. Trump pulled the rug out from his base Saturday evening when he released a lengthy social media post that completely dismissed the importance of the issue, which has consumed the right for the past week and longer. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Trump posted on Truth Social, blaming the files on Democrats. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? Trump supporters have gone along with him through every scandal and policy shift. Even when he made decisions, his base backed him. But the Epstein issue is challenging his alliance like never before. This week, the Justice Department said it would not release any additional files related to the case of the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein died in 2019 while in custody, and a medical examiner ruled his death suicide. He was facing sex trafficking and conspiracy charges. Attorney General Pam Bondi released a 2-page memo saying that the department's review turned up no client list of powerful men who allegedly participated in Epstein schemes, and there was no credible evidence that found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals.
So there's a couple things that have happened so far since they said that there is no client list. I mean, first of all, she said there was a client list. There is a client list. We all know there is. Dershowitz or whatever, he's an attorney. He's seen the list. He knows the people that are on there. He's like, there's a list. So we have that. That's one thing. Number two, he tried to distract everyone. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to start up my beef back with Rosie O'Donnell from 20 years ago, thinking that was going to change. Nobody wanted to hear it. He tried to say Pam Bodie's investigating Connie, the old FBI,
James Comey,
the old FBI director.
And Brennan.
And then really quick, I want everybody to know this. I'm going to put this picture up here. And it's a post from Truth Social, the Donald Trump one. I'm going to show you the post, and then I'm going to show you something else that everyone else pointed out. It's the first time Donald Trump has been ratioed on Truth Social. Now, people don't understand ratio is when you have more comments than you have likes on your post. And there's about 40,000 posts under the one he just made here. And it's from MAGA supporters. And they are livid. I
mean, they gotta be. Like, I mean, you gotta imagine, man. His entire a lot of his base are conspiracy theorists.
Yes,
who believe and breathe conspiracies about the government and what the government's doing to them. A lot of them, are people who are from backgrounds that may not always bring wealth to the table. That goes for a lot of us, though. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are angry about things, and they believe that there's something to blame or someone to blame for what's happening to them. So a lot of them are involved in QAnon, all these other different conspiracy theorists, different kind of groups and stuff, and they believe in the things he told them. So when he needed to win this presidency, he threw out all the stops. He was like, they're like, are you going to talk about JFK? Yeah. You're going to talk about MLK? Yeah. Epstein?
You can release all the files. He was like,
well, they might hurt some people, so you may not want to release them all, but yeah, I will. And he said he would. He came out and he said this. And then once he got into office, he had him parade around in front of the White House with different files in front of him, like, hey, we're about to release the files. So he made this bed that he's laying in right now. Now he's angry, like, why do you guys want to talk about Epstein so much? Because he died on your watch. He died under your care. That was a federal.
He was arrested under Donald Trump. He died under Donald Trump, and there's a minute missing from the 10-hour film. And I watched the video of his gentleman. I can post that too if you want to see it, where he goes into the source code of the video, and it shows where they had changed the video. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they show I was like, dang, I never seen nobody do that before. But he went to the source code. They have the initials of the person that did it. They have the times of when they did it. It happened this year, 2025. They changed the video this year. You can't blame it on nobody else like he's trying to do. He's trying to, in his post, he's like, oh man, that was written by Obama and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And they're like, bro, he was arrested when you were president. So there wasn't a list. Nothing was around until you said it.
Imagine what Bondi said, though. She said that every video has 1 minute missing from them because it's a rewind period. She said every video they say that they've ever had. So they're supposed to go back and do some type of review. But why would you come out and say this without having already done the review to make sure of it, especially if this was something that you were investigating? You wouldn't have. Another thing that Steve brought up today on Civil Discourse, he said that there was a guy who had stayed in the exact cell that Epstein died in. He was obviously someone who was awaiting trial and put inside of a suicide watch. He stayed in the exact cell. And this dude came out and was like, listen, there's no way he could have killed himself in that cell because he's on suicide watch. So they're not giving you anything. You're probably giving you, damn near paper, forks or whatever else they're going to give. They're not giving you nothing for you can kill yourself. You're probably eating with your damn hand damn near.
On suicide
at
watch.
All. Yeah. So you don't have anything to be able to kill yourself with. So obviously this minute, they're like, well, I don't think anyone could have killed him in a minute. Well, they could have come in there and said, here you go. You better make sure you take your own life or it's going to be X, Y, or Z happens to you.
Well, how did they say he killed himself?
They say, well, I would have alleged by strangulation. That would be the only way he had to have hung himself or something like that. There's no other way. How else are you going to do it?
How are you going? Hey, you're in a suicide. I didn't realize it was suicide watch warden.
Yeah, man. He was on a suicide.
Where you can hang yourself. You know what I'm saying? Think about what's his name? Who's the guy who used to play for the Patriots or whatever? Alex
Aaron, I know what he's talking about.
Aaron Hernandez, whatever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was in a regular cell. He hung himself, right? But he put soap on the ground to make it so he couldn't make his feet stand up to, make it so he could finish himself. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't do that in the wards where you're supposed to be on suicide watch. There's a reason you're in there on suicide watch. The minute's missing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you can see it was altered. The video was altered. Like they have 5
MAGA. Yeah. MAGA right now, you look at Dan Bongino. This was the FBI assistant director of the FBI. He's come out like, hey, if Pam Bondi's not out of here, then I'm leaving. And now you got Kash Patel, who's the head of the FBI. He's talking about, you know what? If Bongino leaves, I'm leaving too. If we don't get rid of Pam, because she's gatekeeping something that they've been going around. Because Dan Bongino had his own podcast. They said he was making.
Kash Patel. That was their whole. My bad to cut you off. That was their whole thing. They built off years of that. They were on the Epstein files, and I know Tucker Carlson was saying there was somebody on his show. He was like, that's why they brought them in. So when it shows nothing, it'll go away. Because if you hear it from these two guys, like, yeah, we looked into it, there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? But that was their big platform, these Epstein files. And a lot of people, that's one thing I can say about American. You can be racist, xenophobic, whatever. We ain't into kitty fucking. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it like that, but a lot of people, we ain't into that stuff. That's why the Democrats lost the election, because they're letting the gays into the elementary schools to preach to them about it. I've said it before, and that's exactly what happened. But a lot of people ain't with it. And when you get a united force of Americans like that on both sides of the aisle, you're not stopping that. That's not going away. And
they're going hard on them right now.
They're hard on him.
They're going. I mean, it's crazy right now. You got Tucker Carlson's coming out and also said that that Jeffrey Epstein was allegedly working for Mossad. which is the CIA of Israel, pretty much. I mean, they saying he was not an agent, but pretty much like a I forget that, I can't remember this term.
Like an operative.
Operative, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You know what I mean? So asset, however you want to call it. But I mean, so you gotta imagine Epstein went from in late 70s or wherever, and during the 70s being like a high school teacher. He was like some type of science teacher, something like that, or college, some type of a professor of some sort. To then they say he went to go work for Bear Stearns, and this is where he made all his money at. But you got to remember also that he owned like the biggest property, like in the Hamptons in New York or somewhere, like something like he owned the largest property there. All of a sudden, out of the blue, you got all these other people who got all this other money, but he owned that. Then he owned Epstein Island. Then he owned two private jets. Then he owned another. I mean, come on, you know, like this is
the place he had in New York. It was given to him. The person that gave it to him actually lived
right behind him. Exactly, gave it to him. Why? Why is all this? I mean, you got him coming out on the stand saying that Donald Trump was my best friend on the stand when he had to take a stand in a case.
I watched another one where they were like, yo, was it true that, you know, I don't know if the prime minister or whatever of France sent you 3 13-year-old girls for your birthday to sexually abuse, and then they left the next day, and he's like, I plead the 5th.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember Prince Andrew, you know what I mean? Prince Andrew of the UK, they kicked him out of the royal court because they had ties to Epstein. They got pictures of him. Trump tried to say, I don't even know Prince Andrew. He came out and said he doesn't know Prince Andrew. They got pictures of you with Prince Andrew, man, from years ago, like multiple pictures, different pictures, not from the same day. And you don't know him. This is getting stranger by the day. We all know something is going on, and we're going to stop acting like he's not in these files. There's something about him.
He's in there. Like, that's why we can't sit there and look at you know, him, that people are trying to say like, oh, you know, Pam Bodie, no, at his request, she suppressed this stuff. Because if he wanted it out, he would let it out.
He would let it out.
He would let it out.
That's why I try to tell them. They were like, oh, this wasn't his doing. This person said this. They work at his at his behest. They're only there because he's put them in this position. This is why they can't speak on it. This is why she's not going to even give it to Cash or Dan Bunch, because they know that you got Elon Musk and you have Candace Owens coming out like, come on. Candace Owens basically said, come on, man. You sound ridiculous by saying Obama and Biden and all these people made this file up. You know what I mean? Then you got Elon like, hey, all this, man, just release the files. Just release them. If it's a nothing burger, release it.
They could have made the files and just did whatever they wanted with them at this point. I mean, like they could have made a fake list, but he knows he's on the list and people have seen the list. And they can't tamper with it. And I mean, like he's used everything in his repertoire, right? First he told them forget about it. They ain't listening. Then he was like, we're gonna do the stuff with the FBI directors and get them for the old stuff. Everyone's like, nah, Epstein files. He's like, yeah, we're gonna look into the 2020 election. Nah, Epstein files. He's like, Rosie O'Donnell, Epstein files. He's like, Obama,
anybody who I could throw you off with, man.
Something.
Remember Pam Bondi? Nope. Yeah, she came out. She said.
Epstein files.
She came out and she said, she's like, I have it on my desk, this, that, and the third. Then she comes out and says, oh, it's taken me a long time because we having to redact the victims' names. Then I had someone say to me today, oh, well, maybe because they know that Alan Dershowitz, who was an attorney, was one of Epstein's attorneys. He got, they accused him, but it ended up being a false accusation that he accused him of. It's like, maybe that's why they don't want to release it, because there's a lot of people who may get their names dirty. You know what they become once they become a falsely accused person? They become a victim. So then you can redact their names as well from anything that's going on with that. You can redact their names and even pieces of it to let people know this person cannot be, you can't look at them. But they don't want to release anyone's name because they understand once they do that, then people are going to start talking to, oh, you want to tell on me? Oh, well, this is what this is. You're opening a can of worms that you can't close, and there's something in it about you that you don't want to let out. That's all it is.
Someone else also said this too. He can't threaten to sue him because if he sues him, then discovery comes out. Then they all get to see the file.
This is why he's not threatening to sue anyone who's talking and saying he's a part of it. He sues everyone for everything.
If Elon Musk, think about it, and I'll say this, ladies, and I'll leave it at this point. If somebody comes out and says, hey, DMAC Uno is in the Epstein files, and I so happen to have said Epstein files, if I had the evidence to prove my innocence, I would let it go. I'd be like, here you go. Nah, my name ain't on that. But you have the evidence to prove that you're not in them. But you're not releasing them because you can't, because the evidence shows that you're in them.
Absolutely.